Think you're too smart to fall for an investment scam? So did the CEO, who lost $47 million and ended up being sentenced to federal prison for more than 20 years. Let's dive into the world of modern financial fraud, and I'll share some of the available tools so you can stay safe. Before we get into the big scams, let's talk about something you've probably seen right here on YouTube. Notice comments like these. Wow, my advisor John got me 300% return this month. Mrs. Sarah Williams helped me turn $1,000 into $50,000 in just 2 weeks. Contact blank on WhatsApp for guaranteed returns. Put an example on the screen now. Be very cautious when you see these comments. My favorite is the guy who says something about withdrawing money. They're trying to make you feel confident that you're going to get your money back, but you won't. These aren't real investors. They're scammers using fake accounts. Here's how this scam works. 1. They post seemingly innocent success stories. When you contact them, they direct you to WhatsApp or Telegram. 3. They show you fake trading screenshots. And then they pressure you to send money through cryptocurrency or wire transfer. Just be very suspicious when you see multiple people promoting the same advisor, unrealistic returns, WhatsApp or Telegram contact requests, poor grammar or generic profile pictures. But here's the latest twist. Instead of directing you to WhatsApp, because people are starting to figure this out, they tell you to search for a very unique name on Google, like Jenny Lynn Buchnevich, which will direct you to a website that looks completely legitimate. We'll show you some tools where if you're seriously looking for an advisor, you can confirm that they're actually legitimate. We'll share those in our next video, so be sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you get notified when it's available. Otherwise, we'll be sure to link it in the end screen of this video. The simple takeaway, if you're looking for an advisor, the YouTube comment sections are probably the last place you want to look. Speaking of schemes, let me tell you a story that shocked the financial world. In 2022, Shan Haynes, the CEO of Heartland Tri-State Bank in Kansas, with over 30 years of experience, fell victim to a cryptocurrency scam that cost his bank $47 million. Haynes believed he was investing in legitimate cryptocurrency platforms, but it turned out to be an elaborate fraud. The scam was so convincing that even a seasoned banking professional with decades of experience fell for it. Haynes ended up being sentenced to more than 24 years in federal prison for his role in the bank's collapse. This story serves as a stark reminder that anyone can fall victim to a well-crafted scam, no matter their experience or their position. It's crucial to always remain vigilant and skeptical, especially when it comes to new and complex investment opportunities. What started as a $1,000 investment grew into a $47 million nightmare. The scammers used sophisticated tactics, showed him fake trading platforms, created urgency with limited time opportunities, used his desire to help his community against him, manipulated him for small initial successes, and the list goes on. Take a look at this shocking trend. Investment scams have increased by 730% over the past 5 years. In 2023 alone, Americans lost more money to investment fraud than to physical theft or robbery combined. Notice how the spike correlates with major market events as well as the rise of cryptocurrency. Because of all of the headlines associated with the huge surge in crypto, a lot of investors are worried they're missing something, and now they're falling prey to many of these crypto-related scams, just like Shan Haynes. We'll highlight some of the common scams that we're seeing. 1. Crypto recovery scams. You've lost money in crypto? These scammers promise to get it back for you, for free. They claim to be specialized firms with unique blockchain tools, but they're just stealing twice. Number 2, pump and dump schemes. These aren't just penny stocks anymore. They've evolved into crypto tokens and NFTs. Influencers pump up the price, then dump their holdings once you buy in. 3, and this one's probably the saddest, romance investment scams, where scammers build relationships before pushing fake investments. They're patient sometimes, waiting months before suggesting their first investment opportunity. Consumers lost $1.1 billion through romance scams in 2023 alone. These are typically the saddest stories as well. A lonely widow or widower are easy targets for these cruel scammers in a lot of cases. Family and friends try to alert the victim, but they are just so in love and just don't want to see the light. One angle on this scam that doesn't get addressed too much is how folks are left after they've been scammed. I recently listened to a podcast by the regulatory agency FINRA that discussed with a couple of folks who had been scammed in investment fraud. And they both talked about how head over heels they were and how connected they were with the people on the other side of this communication that ended up turning its discussions towards things like cryptocurrency. But there were a lot of red flags that because of their emotions, they brushed off. One, for example, is not willing to meet in person. That's a pretty good indication. If after a few weeks someone never wants to meet in person and they're talking about cryptocurrency, be on the lookout. This could be a problem. One side of this that doesn't get discussed as a whole lot is the emotional ramifications on the other side. I'll put a link down below. If you've unfortunately been blasted by one of these scams, there's a support network out there for you. You're going through a lot. Not only have you lost a lot of money, but you've lost a lot of faith and trust in society. The CSN, Cybercrime Support Network, is available for you. And I'll put some other additional links if you've been scammed or if you think you've been scammed that you can use to help you get through this. Moving on to number 4, high yield bond fraud. As a bond guy, this one really gets me. They promise corporate bonds paying 15 to 20% interest when real corporate bonds are paying much less. They're usually completely fake securities. I can't say I see a ton of this. I think that's partially because I immediately block them out because my immediate reaction, knowing where interest rates are and what it takes to get a 15 to 20% return, causes me to immediately just cast them aside. So be on the lookout. If something looks too good to be true, it's probably because it is. Next up, social media investment gurus. They show off fancy cars and houses, claim to have a foolproof system, and offer to teach you for free. Remember, real successful traders rarely sell courses on TikTok. We should always be skeptical about anything we see on social media, whether it's money, politics, or cat videos. Well, maybe we can believe those cat videos, but always start from the skeptical position when anyone starts talking about your money, especially online. Number 6, precious metal IRA scams. They convince you to move your retirement into physical gold at heavily marked up prices, often storing it in questionable overseas facilities you'll never see. You have to proceed with caution in the precious metal space. Everything from excessive markups to physical gold that you can't take delivery of. Seek out reputable dealers. Some of my friends that play in this space will only buy in person from a dealer with a long-standing reputation, and I just think that's pretty good advice. Number 7, AI trading software scams. The latest trend, claiming AI algorithms can guarantee trading profits. They'll show you fake trading records and request access to your brokerage account. Never give it. Let me teach you the magic word. Ready for it? The word is guaranteed. When I hear or see this word in an investment-related context, boom, you lost me. I know the only thing that is guaranteed is risk. And along with that risk, I'm hopeful that I'll be compensated for taking that risk. Whenever you see the word guaranteed related to your investments, be skeptical. No, even better, be doubtful. Because chances are, it's a scam. All right, let's move on to the next scam. Number 8, pig butchery. This is the scam that Shan Haynes, the Kansas banker, fell prey to. The name comes from slowly fattening the victim and getting increasing amounts of money from them as the scammer gains their trust. Scammers start small to gain the confidence of the scam, and they gradually ratchet up the amounts with the victim completely convinced that they're getting a huge return. When the victim calls it quits because they're out of money, the scammers are nowhere to be found, having moved on to their next big fish. Number 9, environmental or ESG investment fraud. Green energy scams are booming. They claim to invest in solar farms or carbon credits, but the projects just don't exist. Remember, if they pressure you about limited time tax credits, run. The thing to remember here is, this is another one of those cases where you're trying to make decisions with both your head and your heart. Because this cause is important to you, and that's your heart. And you want to invest. That's your head. Sometimes the heart can take the lead, and that's when we leave ourselves vulnerable to scams. So think through your decision, and if you're being rushed to decide, it probably means it's a scam. Because the longer you wait, your head starts to take over the decision-making process from the heart. Let's talk about some common red flags across all scams. Like I said earlier, guaranteed returns, pressure to act quickly, requests for cryptocurrency payments, claims of risk-free investments, unregistered investments or advisors, offshore accounts, complex, hard-to-understand strategies, just to name a few. Look at these numbers carefully. Cryptocurrency investment scams lead the pack, followed by precious metals and foreign exchange fraud. Why do you think this group is a target-rich environment for scammers? Because these are all very complicated and difficult to understand spaces. The scammer lures you in with the promise of super high returns, and you're so excited by the prospect of this big win that you'll give up on trying to understand how it actually works and just send them your money, never to be seen again. Be skeptical. The higher and higher the suggested return, the higher and higher the likelihood you may never see your money again. If this video is opening your eyes to some of the scams out there, hit that like button and subscribe to stay protected, because scammers never take a day off, and neither do I. Well, actually, I do take days off, but I'll tell you this, I'm skeptical 24/7, 365 days a year, and you should be too. To protect yourself from these scams, be on the lookout next week for our video on tools scammers don't want you to know about. Otherwise, watch the video on your screen now. Always consult with a qualified financial professional before making investment decisions. Your financial situation is unique, and what works for one investor might not work for another. Please see the description for the full disclaimer.